I think that in the case, let me speak for this area where we are.
Okaikwei Central, yes.
Patrick is a fine gentleman, Sadiq too, nice guy. I think that Sadiq, rest assured, once the NDC have their numbers in terms of their pink sheet and the MPP brings theirs, and mind you, there's other parties involved. If they bring, and every polling station chairman in Okaikwei Central at this point in time, every polling station chairman or chairperson should know the numbers, you know, when they counted, and if that disputes, then we'll know. So I think that in lieu of what has happened, Re-collation is apt. Nobody will be cheated if the figures are double checked and quadruple checked. And mind you, people actually took pictures of the results. You know, at my polling station, after it was declared, I wrote down my numbers. So many people have the appropriate numbers, and I think that there should be no violence and no use of force, and the numbers will speak for itself, and both parties should be very ready to present their you know, pink sheets, and then the EC should also have a way of really attesting. For instance, I mean, the bio-verification, you can't give me numbers more than were verified, you know, and luckily enough, the NDC had this nice device for counting the number of people at a polling center. So they know that if the numbers don't jive with what they have, then they have another strong case. So if you pick a polling center and they counted, you know, 400 people, and our pink sheets are giving us more than that, then there's an issue. You can attest. So I think that in all fairness, he who won should not be protesting for collation if he truly won, because the numbers, I mean, verified numbers will prove that point. And this is a case where, why did they rush to do Sadiq's? Why did they rush to do it in many other places? And it also appears that, you know, the likes of Nsawo Madwejiri, it seems that, you know, some of his orations during the elections, you know, got the attention of the NDC, and they are bent on showing him where power lies. These are some of the words of the people on the ground. And I think that showing him where power lies does not mean that you should deprive the citizens who voted for the man their rights to be counted. Every vote counts. And this really is about the rights of every voter. You can't make a determination by way of what you feel. I mean, in some instances, they said, oh, President Mahama won, so that means, no, they are skirt and blouse. Yeah. And I can almost attest to the fact that, as for Patrick Boama, he's almost like a two-party man in Okaikwei Central, in the sense that I will not be surprised that he may have gotten votes as equal as President Mahama, if you understand what I'm saying, because he is loved by both parties. So if you base your fact on the fact that Mahama won in Okaikwei Central, so Patrick has lost, no, it doesn't work that way. You know, to share my own experience, in 2000, I got votes more than the president. So what would we have said? That because of what? No. Some people are loved by both parties. And if we don't pay attention to that, and we say that Tema Central, Mahama won, so MPP lost, we'll be making a mistake. And the reverse. So I'll plead with the people, you know, to be cool, to let cool heads, you know, manage this. And I'll plead with the NDC through Suhini here. I believe and know what they are intending to do. You know, but Ghanaians have entrusted you now, and hope that you'd act accordingly, and be very careful with power as it stands. Some of your inactions now will show us whether you appreciate what Ghana has done for you.
You see, they are protecting the vote of the people. And that's what they have to do. And that's what they've done in the period. And we're able to collate the results, did what they did, and they won.
But how do you protect when you declare prior to completion of collation, especially for a parliamentary seat? Is unheard of. I think that for parliamentary seat, which is not presidential.
How about in cases where, if you put together all that is outstanding, give it to the losing candidate, he will not make it? So that is clear.
Well, in those cases, if it is very clear, I mean, I think the other parties will concede. In a case where it isn't, and pockets of discrepancies, we need to make sure that the verified numbers are looked at. And once the verified numbers, I mean, the last time I checked, it was 21,000 to 19,000 or so with Okaikwei Central.
21,000 in favor of who?
With Patrick leading. That's
Really?
the last time I checked.
Okay.
And that I mean,
It would be
listen,
strange for the returning officer to announce results with Patrick or the
most
Patrick
of the videos,
leading,
the numbers were not even.
and then he will say the other guy won.
And let me add this: some of the pronouncements were without numbers, which baffles my mind. That is not the norm. The Electoral Commission, when they want to declare who won,
They should give numbers.
they are supposed to state categorically that these are the
Numbers and
numbers.
percentages.
Yes. How can like in the case of I think one that I saw, which has been corrected, the case of Antiaqua North. I mean, the guy declared without actual numbers, and who does that? You should, even when you have truncated the process and you are making a declaration in error.
You declare based on the numbers you
You
have at the
have to
moment.
state the numbers. And then when somebody can question those numbers, but when you refrain from declaring numbers, that shows me that one, you are unaware of the processes, you are not the rightful person to make that declaration. And I really think that, listen, politics has all kinds of tricks. And I believe that, the tricks can go in your favor or not in your favor. But as it stands now, for democracy and let me even add Techiman South. I think that the NDC are out there largely to just do like a quote unquote frustrate Martin J. Kosa. Because based on what I understand, the NDC collated numbers show that they lost. Yes. And this is internal info or intel from the NDC's quarters. They know they lost. But because of the prior happenings in the year before, 2020, they want to mete out something to Martin and frustrate him for no reason. So I really think that, listen, to make our democracy rich, I mean, listen, if it's 180 you've gotten, the ones that are still for us, let us enjoy them.
Very well.
And it is in the interest of democracy. And I think that certainly if it so happens that we need to do a whole new election for these places, maybe that might be what we may have to return to.
Great.
So we'll have a special by-election for these constituencies, and that one there, la ilala ilala, is going to be quite brutal.
All right. I mean, Mr.
And there was one thing before I conclude.
Saris,
There's one thing I wanted to add. Some of the issues we had said in certain quarters that a change in the ministers would have helped. People wanted to see fresh faces.
But that happened, but all those ministers lost. There were appointments made. Sarah Malasan, Okoboy.
The timing. It was too late.
Dakwa Newman.
And we had asked for this, and some reshuffles were done where we thought
Ophelia, Hayford from
we thought the placeholders.
But is it not interesting that all those fresh ministers lost? Okay, all those fresh ministers lost. So Sarah Malasan lost.
Even former Minister of Health also lost.
Which from Okoboy?
No, I'm saying former.
That's Ajimamenu.
Yeah.
He contested?
Yeah.
I thought he left the scene. So he lost.
did.
Oh, I see. I see. All right.
So the timing. I felt that at some point, and that's one thing I like about Donald Trump. I must admit, he will change you in a heartbeat. and we stayed far too long.
So maybe I'm going to put this in context, maybe before Prof comes in.
Okay.
He's made a number of allegations.
I wanted to put everything together, then you will deal with them since you are in there now. Okay. So I'm sure